What's up, guys? Albert from thatfxtrader.com bringing you guys another video pertaining to the foreign exchange market. And in this video, guys, we're going to be going over why trading on your phone is not a really good idea. And that was a concept, guys, that actually came up through me and my girlfriend when we were talking at lunch, and she was asking, why am I not so active anymore on my phone per se, and how over the years I've started to care less and less about market movements and really just care about what I'm seeing in front of me when I'm actually at the charts. And so in this video, guys, we're going to be going over why it's not really good to be pulling trades from your phone and the negatives that do come about it. And so what I have here, guys, I have 3 examples here that I'm excited to show you guys. I know that was a pretty bad drawing on highlighting those 3 examples, but first, before we get into it, guys, I'm going to be going over the negatives that come about it, and then from there showing you guys how trading from your phone can give you guys a very skewed perspective of what the market is doing, and more importantly, what the entirety of the structure is compared to when you're looking at it from the computer, right? And so getting right into it, guys, let's talk about this real quick, first and foremost, and just the notion of the financial markets, okay? The financial markets are consisted of the biggest players in the world, right? So let's give that a check. And so if that's the case, you're playing with the smartest, hungriest people when it pertains to a monetary game. All these people care about in the end of the day is that if the money is going into their pockets or not. And so that brings me to my first question. Would you guys feel comfortable going against the greatest traders in the world and betting that your position is going to go through because you pulled it from your phone? Would that make you comfortable? I don't think so, right? You guys want to be in a proper environment. You guys want to be able to look at the market in its entirety and say, okay, what is going on and what should I be really looking for? And these 3 examples here, guys, with the euro being 1, UJ being 2, and the pound being the 3rd one, I'm going to show you guys right here how something like this will give you such a skewed perspective rather than looking at it from a much bigger, picture, while being on the computer rather being at your phone. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. There are certain platforms that allow you to see things, in a grand scheme of things, and you can see the entire structure. But for the most part, most people do have MT4, and they're not aware of, how big the actual chart is, right? And they only think, that the chart is as big as the MT4 shows them, right? And that's not the case. And so let's get back into it, guys. First and foremost, you guys should not be comfortable going against the biggest players in the world and putting your capital at risk, knowing that, I'm not 100% prepared. I just looked at the structure and it looked like, this was an impulse. This was relief. We broke and retested this low right here. We should continue to the downside, right? And the question is, okay, well, why did we rally back up? And we're going to be going over, the reasons why in just a second. But to get into the second reason, guys, is the fact that if you guys were doing this as a full-time profession, would you guys be pulling trades off your phone? I don't think so. The last time that I pulled a trade off my phone, and it's got to be 3-4 years ago. Now, understand this, guys. I'm not saying, it's wrong to take an entry off your phone, but what I'm saying is it's wrong if you're basing your analysis through what your phone is telling you. Because I can promise you right now, you're missing something simply for the fact that I know for a fact, or I know, for the most part that, you don't have the entire picture in front of you. You only have a small section of it. And we can take that example right here in the euro to US dollar. So let's get into it. You see here in this example here, I just went into the past, guys, and found some examples that would pertain to this video. And in this example here, you can see the euro makes an impulse. And then you see it makes a nice relief, right? And if you guys caught the entry within here, great. You guys got a nice push to the downside. But if you were the trader that said, I need the lows to be broken to see continuation to the downside, fine. So you know what? Let's say we didn't necessarily retest that wick, but you know what? We definitely held this wick right here. Regardless of what you consider a retest, you can definitely see that, we have a very strong bearish candle followed by some sort of a pullback retest, whatever you guys want to label it in the end of the day. Some might be like, that's a doji, that warrants reversal, right? But if you guys know from my training course, candlesticks are just mere indications, right? But going back into this concept here, you guys would be like, well, why did that start reversing to the upside? And let's take a look at it in a much bigger perspective. So take a mental picture of this, and you guys think, wow, we should definitely be poised for downside. Why did that not go through, right? And let's take a look at it from a bigger picture perspective. And now we see, okay, now we're working with a lot more. What do you guys see here? Well, I see that market made a huge impulse to the upside. So in reality, this whole bearish momentum was just relief for continuation to the upside, right? And you guys would be like, well, Albert, that's subjective in the end of the day. Okay, you know what? Then I'm going to make even a better argument to you guys. Let's just measure the movements, right? And so let's look at it like this, from, you know what, that descending channel to this ascending channel. And let's start even from, you know, the base even here. We don't need, you know, let's start, we say there. That's about 1,500 pips to the upside. And we're only moving down about 500. We're not even moving more than 50% of the structure, only about 30% in change, right? So in reality, you think about it, well, the buyers moved about 1,500 pips. The sellers moved about 535 pips. I'm still siding with the buyers. Therefore, this is warranted as relief. And at some point, we're going to expect continuation to the upside, right? But if you guys were looking at that from your phone, right, you would be like, well, I don't know, right? I don't understand why this happened and you know, why this occurred, but it didn't continue to the downside, right? But if you guys looked at it in a bigger picture perspective, you guys would be like, wow, there was so much bullish momentum to the upside, right? That, you know, this 500-600 pip downside play, it shouldn't be anything of, worry to you in reference to his momentum changing. And so that's one example right there, guys, about how looking at your phone can give you a skewed perspective compared to looking at your computer and looking at the entirety of the structure and saying, okay, this is what price is telling me that I should do. And more importantly, this is the type of environment that we are in. Just like we stated before in the euro to US dollar. You know, this was the bullish rally to the upside. And you know what? This is just all relief right now, right? That's how I look at it. And therefore, as long as, you know what, structure starts to slow down from the bearish side in this side and starts to decelerate and eventually create some type of reversal pattern like it did there, then we should see continuation to the upside, which we in fact did. And so that's why, guys, I go back to the initial question of why trade on your phone? What, you guys want to make $1 billion today? Trust me, guys, in the end of the day, if you guys can take the emotion out of trading, you guys will have everything you guys ever wished for within this game. I promise you. But if you guys allow the emotions to slide through your trading, I promise you, you're going to have a roller coaster of a time. It took me about 2 years, 2.5 years to figure that out. I didn't have anyone on my side, right? But eventually I got there simply because I was crazy and I was going to make it regardless. But, you know, take it from me, guys. I spent all the money and the time, you know, trying to figure this out. And now we're here. And so take it from me. Don't trade on your phone. All the trades should be placed through your computer. But that's not to say that if you do your proper analysis and you're just not going to be at the charts and you know what, you set your alerts and structure looks good, then it's a different story. But generally speaking, you want to be in front of the charts, ready to pull the trigger in the event that there's a trade to be there. Not that, oh, it's 3 in the afternoon and you opened your phone because you were at Starbucks and it looks like it's a great trade, right? No. Market's dead. There's no liquidity. There's no volatility. You're not taking a trade, right? You shouldn't be. And you guys have to really take me on my word here. Let me tell you why real quick. Do you know what the most important thing is in this game? This word right here, habit, right? Professional traders have the best habits in the world. They are so disciplined and they are so meticulous on how they go about their trading, right? And because of that, guys, right, that's why they're so successful. You know, people ask all the time, why do the same guys keep winning? Because you know what? They have this. This plus this equates to that, guys, which is your ultimate goal, right? If you have a trading plan, if you have a formula, plus you guys practice good habits, I promise you, you guys are going to kick ass. Taking it to the second example right here, guys, US dollar, Japanese yen, same concept. Why trade on your phone, right? You know, let's take this for example here, right? This is all you guys are going to see on your phone. Let's say this didn't exist at the time, right? And let's say, you know what? You see this breakout right here. Plus you see the break of this high. Now we're creating higher highs. We retested with somewhat of a pin bar hammer, whatever you want to call it in the end of the day. And therefore, you know what? We should continue at least back to the tops, right? Stops be moved to break even. And let's see if we can get that continuation, right? But why didn't that happen? Well, you know, if you guys were looking at it from a phone perspective, you guys probably would only see that, right? And so you guys would be so confused. You guys would be like, I don't understand why structure is not pushing the way that it is. You know what? This game's a scam. You know, I should just quit, right? And that's how people end up, you know, concluding with this game, right? And that's not the case. Let's just zoom out here, guys. And it's like, okay, what do you see here? Oh, I see an impulse. I see a pullback. I see false breaks of the tops. We should continue downside. But then, you know, it brings the question of, oh, we broke that trend. We broke that trend. Why are we not continuing up? Well, we're not creating higher highs, right? And more importantly, this is just relief. And so in the end of the day, notice how I just zoomed out just a bit, guys, right? And it allowed me to see things in a much clearer perspective and tell you guys very confidently, okay, you know what? We're still set for downside. But if I was looking at it, only looking at it from my phone, I would be like, you know what, it's very difficult to see, right? Because you know what, you don't have much to work with. This is all you see. And so once again, guys, why it's so important that you guys aren't looking at it from your phone is simply because you guys will get a much bigger perspective, which will allow you to formulate a better plan on how you're going to execute your trade. It's going to be much more calm, and it's going to be much more, meticulous and a lot more analytical, right? If you guys feel like you have to pull the trade immediately, I'm telling you right now, that's not your trade. Let me tell you why. If you guys feel like you got to rush into the trade and you guys got to get in, it's not your trade. I'll tell you this for one reason. There are zillions of opportunities in the market each week. If you guys genuinely feel like you're going to miss this one beautiful 300 pip trade, I promise you guys, you need to go back in the demo account, right? Because, for example, a lot of people ask me all the time, like, Albert, it's true that your setups go through every single week. They do. But why don't you call the signals then? And you're not fair to you guys for calling me out on that. I'll admit it. But let me tell you something, guys. If I'm not at the computer, I'm not pulling the signal. I don't care when it goes off. If I'm not there, I'm not putting my capital at risk, because you know what? I worked my ass off for my capital. I need to be in front of the charts with my own two eyes to say, you know what? We're going to be moving in X direction. If I'm not putting A, myself at risk and my family at risk, and B, the people who follow me at risk. That's not how I work, right? And that's why I tell people in the end of the day, as you guys start to make more of this, you guys will care less about this. I promise you. You guys will honestly be like, I want 1-2 trades a week. I don't really care what else happens, right? Generally speaking, I take 1-2 trades a week and I'm done. And so that's the second example that I want to go through in reference to why it's so important that you guys are not trading from the phone, and more importantly, doing your analysis off the computer and having your approach from the monitors, from the computer. Now, look, if you got a 24-inch phone, kudos to you and you're good to go, right? But this is just for the general person that is looking at, MT4 and is that trying to draw a trend line or trying to see where they can find trades. And you know what that tells me? You guys are looking for trades rather than waiting for trades to come to you. As I tell all my students in the end of the day, let price prove to you it's going to move in the direction that you want, right? If it doesn't, that's not your trade. Trading is simple, guys, right? But most people make it complicated because they're emotional, and that's understandable. Right? But you know what? All we can do is try to put out the information there. And if people want to listen, great. But in the end of the day, the only true listeners are the people that end up getting burned if they continue to push forward, because they realize the mistakes that they make and they will not make them anymore. Taking it to the last example, a pound dollar once again. Let's say, for example, guys, here, this is all you saw on your phone, right? And you see, wow, we got that impulse and we got that beautiful relief. We should continue to the downside. And you know what? If you got an entry within here and you got that push, good for you. But if you were that person that said, you know what, I got the impulse, I got the relief, but I in fact want to see the lows get broken for me to take a continuation trade to the downside, no problem. There's your break and there's your retest. So why did it go up, right? And once again, if you guys didn't secure an entry in here and you guys looked at your phone and said, wow, we just broke the lows and retested, we should continue downside right there, right? You guys have a skewed view once again. And you guys cannot be upset about that. You guys get what you give in this game. If you guys are just willing to put in the work and do what's needed, you guys are not going to fall in these types of traps. But if you guys are going to be like, I'm just going to pop my phone open and I'm going to see if I can place a trade on, I promise you guys, you're going to end up losing all your money in the end of the day. I promise you. This is not a game that you guys can toy around with, because in the end of the day, you know what? This is where the money is made. Just as in the other financial products, but let me tell you something. This is not a game like the casinos where you can have some fun, because you know what? The boys and the girls that play this game, this is not a game of fun to them. It's just a job, right? And that's the one thing that I try to tell people in the end of the day is that, you know why trading's so tough is because it gives you this. And people are like, that's amazing, right? But that's one of the worst things to have in the world. And I'll tell you why. It's a love-hate type of thing. It's great because you can do whatever you want, but it's bad because if you're not a structured person or a disciplined person, you're going to have a very tough time being a full-time trader, simply because when you're at a job, you got a boss, you got someone telling you what to do, you got certain, deadlines and stuff like that, right? And it's all based on you and how you go about your, daily routine in reference to what you do in your day-to-day life, as well as trading, right? And so in the end of the day, guys, if you're going to have these habits, if you're going to pull trades on the phone and things of that nature, you're not going to make the big sums of money you guys dream of. But if you guys are willing to, make this a lifestyle and be like, you know what, I'm going to do all my due diligence and all my analysis on Sunday. I'm going to set my alerts. I'm prepared for the week. And then you know what? If an alert goes off, I'm going to have my laptop in my backpack and I'm going to pull that thing out and I'm going to look at the trade. I'm not going to look at it on my phone, right? Take it from me, guys. I carried a laptop everywhere I went. Call me crazy, right? But you know what? I got the life that I want now. So you know what? I don't care what people call me back in the day, right? Or you know what, if the alert goes off, you got to run home, right? This is a lifestyle. Just like anything else you do, being a trader is a lifestyle. And so going back into this, guys, right? Going back into this example here, you have that impulse, you have that pullback, you even broke and retested the lows. So why did that go up? Well, let's take a look at the bigger picture perspective. And now we see what had happened. We received this initial impulse to the upside. Therefore, what are we just treating that as? Just relief, right? For further continuations up. Now, some would be like, Albert, well, it's subjective because that is the impulse and that's the pullback, right? You're absolutely right, but you have to take into effect the entirety of the structure, right, and what's going on. Don't get me wrong. If this didn't form that reversal pattern and start to continue to drop, yeah, you would have went, right? But you can see over time that structure eventually hinted we're going to shift. But once again, guys, if you had this entire perspective in your face, you guys wouldn't be so confused on why that pushed to the upside, right? It's basic structures, basic price action. I'm not including anything. I'm just drawing on the charts, right? And so going back, guys, into what I was saying in the beginning and kind of summing everything up in the end of the day, you guys can see within the 3 examples I just showed you guys that why it's so bad that you guys should not be pulling trades on your phone, or more importantly, at least basing your analysis off your phone, right? We've just proven here, guys, that when you guys are looking at your MT4, mobile app, it gives you a skewed perspective rather than looking at it from a bigger picture, perspective on the charts, right? At the same time, guys, you need to factor in, when you guys are full-time and you guys are doing this, are you going to be doing this full-time? If you guys aren't, right, then you know what? Go ahead, pull the trades off your phone. But if you guys say, Albert, I want to be a full-time trader, then I say, why are you guys pulling trades off your phone, right? Would the portfolio manager of Millennium Management do that? Would the portfolio manager of Goldman Sachs do that? I don't think so, right? When they're in the office, they're pulling the trades. When they're out of the office, they're not pulling the trades, right? And at the same time, guys, you guys worked, your blood, sweat, and tears to receive the current, cash that you have in your pocket. And so let me tell you right now, that cash can disappear in a matter of a second if you guys don't, A, have a habitual routine on how you're going to approach your trades, and B, have a formula on how you guys are going to be, consistently winning, right? And so in the end of the day, guys, you need to really think hard about this and be like, if I want to be good at this, I have to be way more mature and disciplined. Trading maturity, which is a video I'm going to cover, is one of the biggest things that cause people to be delayed in their process to get to where they want to be, simply because they can't mature enough at a quicker rate, which causes them to keep going in that vicious cycle, right? That insanity definition, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, right? Which, starts to bring into the emotions and things like that, right? And so to conclude this video, guys, I hope you guys see now what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say in the end of the day, guys, is look, I don't want you guys doing analysis and taking trades off your phone, right? Simply for the fact that I don't want you guys to get hurt because you guys didn't look at it from a bigger picture perspective. Now, what I'm not saying is that it's wrong to take trades off your phone, simply because if you do the proper analysis, you guys set your alerts and everything's set on Sunday and you guys are ready to go as us swing traders. And you know what? The trade, the alert goes off. And that was a level that you knew, but you did it on your computer and you just weren't going to be home. You know what? Then you could potentially pull that on your phone. I wouldn't personally, because I want to be in front of the computer to see what's going on. But you know what? That's the only, way that I could see someone taking trades off their phone, right, is if you did your analysis and everything was set on Sunday. But if that's not the case, guys, you guys should not be taking trades off your phone for this exact reason. Don't get caught in the false breaks. Don't allow the market makers to take your money, because I promise you, in the end of the day, no one cares, what's your situation or what's going on, right? When dabbling in this game, all they care about is how can I make money off of the next person, right? And so in the end of the day, guys, be smart, be habitual, be strategical, and ask yourself this question every single time you take a trade. Would I do this as a full-time trader? And if the answer is no, then you guys know that you guys should not be in that given trade. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely, guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really helps me out. More videos are going to be pumped out each week. Remember, in the next coming days, guys, we're going to be having the weekly webinar coming out, as well as the highlights of that, so stay tuned. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button once again. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please, guys, hit a like and leave a comment in the comment sections down below. Please let me know, guys, if there's any videos that you guys would like me to cover that I haven't went over just yet. Like I said, I'm going to be coming out with a lot of tips and tricks for trading, guys. If you guys are interested in what I do or what I offer, all information is in the description box down below. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and I look forward to seeing you guys all in the coming week. Have a wonderful weekend, guys.